Alright, this is a 2016 Mercedes Gl450. Our problem was this vent line. It goes like so. And obviously you have to get everything out of the way to get to it. And it wasn't too crazy. You start off with the cover. That one just snaps off. On the front, you got to release these little tabs. You pull them up, snaps up, move it out of the way. There's a computer that sits on top right here. It's got these two big harnesses on it. The harnesses are slide out. You slide these pieces out and it comes out. Move the computer out. I disconnected the battery before, as always, when you do any kind of electronic stuff. It's always a good idea to disconnect the battery. So move the computer out of the way, and then this piece has to come off. You have to undo all these harnesses. You gotta follow these to everywhere they're at. Got these two cam magnets and then sensors, and all of them. They all gotta come off. I took off all the coils, injectors, anything other than this back one I left on that I need to take off. And then just the big one for the throttle body I left on. This one was enough loose, I left it on. There's a couple down there I left on, but all of these, you can tell they're all loose. None of them are tight. None of these should be tight. You do not want to deal with replacing harnesses because you've ripped them out, so be very careful. And then I'd lock the hood up so I could use tension to pull this up and give myself some room to get the intake out of the way. I disconnected the bottom. You have 8 bolts on this thing. There's nothing attached to the back. There's a sensor on top. Obviously, remove all the sensors with everything else. Takes up, I think it's an E10, but mine was too thick, and I don't want to go to the store and buy one, so I just use a 6.8 millimeter. Just get in here. The torque on these things are pretty low. I should check and make sure what they are. I haven't checked them yet, but took them off. I just picked it up, slid it out, and moved it out of the way. Then you got to take off the lower little intakes, right and left. Take off 4. Same concept. Vacuum. So that there's a bunch of debris and dust. You want to vacuum all this stuff out of there. Take all this debris out. And then I also removed the reservoir out of the way. Just pull this, unplug it. I have a catch band under. So pull the spring out, pull this out, pull the spring out, pull this out. It had 2 T25s or whatever, 27s for the little pump. Took that off. The harness is obviously all out of the way. It has 1, 2, and 3. And there, 1, 2, and the third one is a. So move that out of the way. There's a bolt that holds it in place. This is a squeeze tab. Obviously, you take this off the intake when you move the intake. Mine was broken. This piece pops up. So this is not, you don't have to snap anything off. But it took a good amount of leverage to pull it up. And it was not a good idea for me to try to pull it like this. My leverage was gonna just snap it off. So I climbed on to the engine. I got my hand on top of it, both hands. You want to pull up directly and it snaps off. I cleaned the hole. I poured a little bit of a WD-40 in there just to loosen up that little o-ring. This o-ring is what kind of keeps pressure on it. So put it back as reverse. I'm just gonna put it back together, see what happens. Good luck. Did I miss anything?